What I learned was that you can build reasonably small sites and put that in context. It might be a half a megawatt or 1 megawatt or 5 megawatts. When the big guys are talking about 50 megawatts and 100 and 200, you can build sites that are equally, if not more cost effective at that scale than you can at the big scale, number one. And number two, as time goes by and energy becomes more precious, we see the pressures from AI and HPC, as well as traditional industries that want cheap power too, that the big miners now have to fight those people for the big sites as they become available. But the small sites, we can still find them. And then even more importantly, we can find them in stranded situations, what I think you'd commonly call off-grid. I like to call it wild. So I call them wild because my first site in this mode, we started in 2021, actually. I made this decision. So I raised some money and we found a hydroelectric facility that was built in 1888. It was a textile mill in South Carolina. It hadn't worked for 20 years. The place had gone bankrupt, but the bones of it, the structure was still there. So we went in. It was a reasonable size capital investment, but we went in and we rebuilt the whole hydroelectric infrastructure.
Right.
Then what we did is we cut the cord to the grid. So ironically, it was already grid connected, but we said, no, we do not want ever to be in a position where somebody else could dictate what has to happen with our energy. We built this to mine Bitcoin, and we believe Bitcoin has this noble cause, and so all the power we produce will be for Bitcoin, which is, by the way, the very antithesis of the way
That's right. That's not how the other miners work.
Right. They think about
given
load balancing and grid, and I'm going to maximize my profits. If I can sell it more over here than I do, but we're the energy producer now, and we are exercising our right to use our energy the way that we want. So
instead of going and plugging into an existing energy source or energy producer, you guys are becoming the energy producer yourself and then utilizing that energy for the mining, which is a little bit different than the other companies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, I call it wild mining because you can either have captured mining or wild mining. So if you're captured, no matter how big you are, no matter what your power purchase agreement says, there are mechanisms by which third parties dictate whether or not you can mine. And I said, no, I'm not going to go that path. It won't make me the biggest miner in the world.
Super interesting.
But it will make me the most sovereign.
That's right. Super sovereign. And then did you replicate this in other places?
Yeah. So we rehabbed the hydro plant, and we've subsequently done an anaerobic digestion facility attached to a dairy farm. So we take the excrement from the dairy farm and we use that to produce methane, which we mine from. And more recently, we've been more focused on stranded natural gas wells. So a lot of people talk about the flaring. So we're not so much into the flaring side. That's actually a different kind of gas. It's a little harder to utilize. But what we do is, for instance, in the state of Pennsylvania, in the U.S., there are 270,000 wells drilled.
Right.
Only 70,000 are currently producing. Now, there are different reasons why 200 are not, but a lot of them are because there's no pipeline close enough for them to offload the gas, or the pipeline is there, but it's full, so they can't accept gas. So we're able to go in and either buy the wells or buy the rights to the gas from the wells, from the well owner, and then we mine, on.
Do you have like a vision of scaling this to other places around the world, or even just the playbook of how you do things?
We love working in partnerships. So,
right.
And we are talking to people all over the world, and especially in Central and South America. Tiny bit in Europe, although Europe has its own issues. But our desire is to be in these places,
right?
And because we want to be more decentralized. Means exactly. A lot of things, and we want to be more geographically decentralized. So that's on our vision. We need access to the energy. One of the beauties of the U.S. in this case is that natural gas rights, as an example, those rights are at the individual level. A lot of other countries, the state gets involved in mineral rights and gas rights and water rights, and it's a more complicated web. But it is important.